Audacious wire fraud in broad daylight. You're listening to Home Sellers Advantage. I'm your host, Aaron Zapata.
And I'm your other host, Todd Anderson. We are the Bald Brothers team at Impact Realty Group with Real Broker, and we are here to give you the Home Sellers Advantage.
You can find us online at www.baldbrothers.tv. Again, that's baldbrothers.tv.
Or you can call us at 833-305-BALD. That's 833-305-2253.
I hope you're listening and listening well, because once money is wired, it never comes back. And this is a recent real life story of something that just happened this last weekend when we're recording this with our client.
With my name involved.
Yes. Todd has been identity thefted.
Fraud on the line. Beware the wire.
Yes, right. Fraud. There's a lot of stuff going on. So at the end of a transaction, at the beginning of the transaction, and at the end of a transaction, money is wired.
Yeah.
It's wired to escrow and or title company, depending on where the money's coming from. So in this situation, we have a young couple, first-time buyers.
First-time buyers. Easy target
for a scammer, a fraudster.
Well, anybody's a target, but your first time doing this sort of transaction. Yeah.
Yeah. And so what happened was, we opened escrow, they wired the money, everything's fine. We're now down to the final closing days. And at the end of the escrow period, a buyer is going to wire the remaining funds.
Closing funds, yep.
That's right. And so let's just walk through the time frame. On Friday around noon, he gets an email, the husband of the couple gets an email from escrow, CCing Todd Anderson, saying, just checking in, making sure everything's great. Wanted to make sure that you're able to wire the funds. And we are slated to close. And the closing is going to happen on a Monday or Tuesday. And so this is Friday. This is totally normal.
It's all in keeping with what normally would happen in the timeline for the close of an escrow. And that's what makes it so scary, because the scammers know exactly how the process works. They know how to pass themselves off and be quite believable.
So the first thing that our buyer did is he tried to call Todd. Todd was unavailable, so he called me. And I picked up the phone.
Yeah, he did text me.
Oh, he texted you,
and
right?
said he texted and said, is it okay to send the wire? And I actually told him no. I said, hold off until we have full confirmation before you send that final wire. And I had no idea about this fraudulent email that he had received.
Because at this time, nobody knows it's fraud.
Yeah.
Nobody knows. And so I get the phone call, and he says, hey, I got an email from escrow wanting to know if I'm ready to wire the final funds. And now there's a couple of things that have to happen in sequence. And I know that we have to have a clear to close from the lender. The loan documents have to be sent to escrow. Escrow has to, what they call, balance the file with the lender before those loan docs go out. So there's a lot of things that I had not heard yet if they had happened. And I said, you might not want to.
Premature to wire funds at that point, yeah.
And I said, I can understand why they might be antsy, because it's in Los Angeles County. You have to wire one day and then close the next. And we're already closing late. We're closing a couple of days late per contract, but the seller had agreed to an extension. And so it didn't seem out of the ordinary that escrow was calling. The only part that seemed out of the ordinary is that it was calling, they were asking for the money before the loan docs were out.
Yeah.
And I said, you know what? Why don't you call the lender? And so he called the lender, and the lender's like, no, because there were 3 steps that needed to happen before that happened. And she knew, because she was the lender, that neither 1, 2, or 3 had happened. And she's like, no. Like, you're not wiring any money. And she said, can you send me the email from escrow? And so he did. And they discussed it. And fast forward to Saturday morning, after further investigation, the email from escrow was fraud.
Yeah.
And the email from escrow had a domain name that was one letter off
Yeah. So very similar. If you're looking at it very quickly, you would miss it.
Yeah. You would not have known. And the same escrow officer's name was used, and the escrow address, the escrow number, and the amount were approximately correct. They were not exactly correct, but they were approximately correct based on his purchase contract. And they even CC'd Todd Anderson. But they didn't CC Todd Anderson.
They didn't. I never got the CC. They CC'd. They made up an email account that was quite believable. Now, if you've ever received emails that you're wondering if they're scams, the first thing you always do is look to see the sender, what the email address is. And oftentimes it's a weird email address, and you instantaneously know it's fraud. It's don't follow it. But in this case, it was an email address that was quite believable. In fact, it was a Gmail, I believe.
The one for you.
The one for me,
For you. The one from the escrow company had the exact same framework, except for one
letter was off
in the domain.
In the domain, yeah.
And they even copied the escrow officer's signature line.
Yeah.
And so everything was very, very close. The timing was off. And that's what got everybody thinking the timing is off. And so they had created a Gmail address for Todd. Todd and I don't use Gmail for our professional email.
Yeah.
We use at impactprop.com email addresses, right? And so immediately when I saw that, I'm like, oh, that's not our email address. In fact, escrow this morning, the day we're recording this, emailed us.
Contacted me, or contacted, I think, both of us, and asked if the email address, the fraudulent email address, was a valid email address to use. And I responded immediately, no, don't send them anything. This is fraud.
That's a bad number.
Yeah.
Now, we do know that it was the buyer's email, the fake escrow officer, the fake realtor, Todd, and they left off the lender. And so the best, we don't know how they got this information realistically, but let me tell you how this finished, because it's very important. The notary that was scheduled by the escrow company went to escrow, picked up the loan docs, and got the final payment statement, and handed it to our client on Saturday morning live in their notarization, like when they're signing all the loan docs.
Yeah.
And so here they had the actual number, which then didn't match the number that had come from the escrow company. And at that point, we started to really look deep. And that's when we kind of discovered. Now, here's the hardest part to believe, but it happened. They got a text message.
Yeah.
Text message.
The
from quote unquote escrow, just making sure that everything's going fine, and just checking in to make sure they'll be able to wire the money.
This is where we see the scammers and the insidious nature of the audacity of scammers. It used to be it's always just by email. You get these now text messaging.
Yeah,
it was a scam text message.
Right.
From escrow, from the supposed escrow. Yeah.
And so by that time, the spidey senses were up, and we're like, something's wrong, something's not right. And he looked all over the website for the phone number that had been texted from him to him, and it couldn't be found.
Yeah.
And he started looking at the wire instructions that were provided, and it was a bank in like North Dakota. He started looking at the details of the wire instructions, and there was a lot of wrong information on there. They did have the escrow company's name and logo, but it had a slight variation of the address. And so all of a sudden, all the pieces were put together. And honestly, they were freaked out. They're like, how in the world did they get so much information? And by God's grace, and because of their listening to their gut, they did not wire money to the scammers. I'm pleased to say they did wire money to escrow, who has confirmed that they received it today.
Yeah, so there's a good end to the story.
Yeah.
But in the event, in such a case, this could have turned out very poorly, because they had already removed all contingencies on the home. And in the event, and oftentimes, hey, if it's a first-time home buyer, typically that's all they have.
Yeah.
They don't have, they can't afford to lose these closing funds.
Oh, yeah.
And so in the event that you send a wire, getting that back, good luck. Because once it's gone, it's gone.
Yeah.
And it's hard to point blame at anybody that's a party to the transaction to be at fault for it.
Yeah.
So getting that back would be very difficult. and could jeopardize a lot of things in this transaction.
Yeah. And so in this case, and by the way, they have given us permission to talk about this.
Yeah.
I said, I need to share this with our listening audience. We need to share it with our other customers. And you need to know the scammers that are creating these wire fraud circumstances, scenarios are very good. Very good. And obviously in this situation, there is something that had to have been hacked.
Yeah.
Whether it be the escrow account, whether it be the title company, it could be the lender. Personally, Todd and I don't have that much information about a transaction in order to get to those numbers.
Yeah.
And so
it could have even been
don't know.
The end user's email.
Could have been.
That could have been so there's a lot of possibilities here.
Yeah.
But the question, the moral of the story is when it comes to sending a wire, whether you're at the beginning or the end of a transaction, always verify multiple times. And in fact, you can't, as much as AI is taking over so many parts, so many sectors of life, it will never get over the fact of an actual face-to-face or person-to-person confirmation. And so when it comes to that, always you'll want to make sure you contact the escrow company, speak to somebody that's actually legitimately representing the escrow company and the transaction. And, the thought just dawned on me with how insidious it is with the technology and AI. I say, well, you should call and talk to somebody, but you know what? AI is generating voices now.
For sure. Cloned voices.
Yeah, so go down and talk to somebody. Yeah. Make sure it's not a hologram that you're seeing face to face.
Right. And so I'm meeting with the buyers at their final walkthrough, and the three of us were standing face to face, and we're like, all we know to be true is that the three of us are here right now. That's all we know. Like, we don't know anything else. We've never met the escrow officer. They've met Todd.
Yeah.
Now they met me, and I met both of them. And like, all we know to be true is that the three of us are here right now.
Yeah.
Like, we don't know anything else.
So
it's a little exaggeration, but it was kind of a surreal moment.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you're right. We don't. Like,
verify, double verify. Don't go based off of an email. Contact the escrow officer, contact the important parties to the transaction so that you can actually have the valid information validated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the scary thing about wire fraud is once it's gone, it's gone. It does not come back.
Yeah.
And we were talking about this with the clients, and in their case, it was over $100,000 that they were wiring to the closing table. And we thought, all that person has to do is all year long figure out one person to scam, and that would be a great annual salary.
Send out scams regularly, and all you have to do is have a 1% return. If you're doing it on a regular basis, there wasn't there a story a while back where there was a $25 million wire that went out. And
it just happened.
Yeah. To the wrong.
Yeah. A CFO was created a Zoom meeting.
That's right.
And it was with his branch in Hong Kong. And it was an American CFO, set up the Zoom meeting. In the meeting said, okay, I need you guys to wire this money. A number of them sent wires to a tune of $25 million. And it was not even the CFO. It was an AI-generated image of the CFO giving information, and none of them caught it until the wires went out. So how does this affect you guys? Okay, you're a seller. If your buyer's money goes missing the day before closing, you're not closing. That money doesn't come back.
Yeah.
If you're a buyer and you wire to the wrong location, your money doesn't come back. One of the things that the escrow company that we work with does is they have the seller notarize their closing wiring information. And it's held in the file because if they have given us the wrong information and that wire goes out, it's gone.
They have something notarized to show what,
And so we might be in the day and age where even though wires are convenient, that you as a seller may want to request a check that you can pick up physically and that you can go and deposit it at your bank, even if there's a delay. We're talking hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not millions of dollars when a deal closes.
Yeah.
We had one situation where a check was sent from escrow to a bank to pay off a debt as part of closing, and the bank never got it. They said And so the client kept getting statements like, how come you haven't paid this off? How come you haven't paid this off? And escrow checked, and the check was cashed.
Wow.
But it was washed. It was caught in the mail. And somebody changed the account number and changed the who it's payable to, and they cashed it at the same bank.
Really?
Now, it took literally 7 weeks or 8 weeks for that client to get their money back after the fraud was discovered. So like 90 days after. But again, that's a check. Something physically had to happen that was traceable. And we filed the police report and everything because it was important. But that's another situation where, we might go back to just saying, hey, we need checks.
Yeah.
So, but unfortunately, closing funds on a deal have to be wired.
Yeah.
For the most part.
Yeah.
So sometimes you're in a pinch.
It's very true. And this affects both sellers and buyers. Of course, if you're a seller, it affects your transaction. But oftentimes you as a seller are also a buyer because you're selling your home and concurrently purchasing another property. And so that will be something that you have to pay attention to on that repurchase.
Yeah. If you have any gut instinct that something's wrong, pick up the phone and call the people you know.
That's right.
That's what saves this. Kudos to them.
Yep.
So hopefully this helps you avoid being scammed yourself, because the fraudsters are audacious. They're just out there. They're going for it. They're usually overseas and can face no repercussions as far as we can tell.
Yeah.
And it's sayonara to that money if it goes the wrong way.
Yep.
We don't want that to happen to you. Hey, coming up, we're going to have an episode for small business owners. If you are looking for a way to structure and to get financing, because often small business owners struggle to get financing and do things like that. And so we've got an upcoming episode with a special guest, and we're going to talk about different ways to structure. We talked about, in and out, moving out of California. Perhaps there are business owners that are trying to restructure in order to make a move, but they have a hard time with the financing. So it's going to be interesting. I'm going to do an interview for that, and that should be our next show. So come on back.
Yep.
And until then, God bless you. You know what we do?
We sell homes.
Yes, we do. God bless you. We'll talk to you next time. Thanks for listening to the Home Seller's Advantage. The Bald Brothers team is a licensed DBA of Real Broker, licensed by the California Department of Real Estate, number 02022-092. Again, we do not give any real estate, legal, or financial advice. If you'd like to reach out to us, you can call us at 833-305-BALD, or you can reach us online at baldbrothers.tv. Equal housing opportunity.